Three-digit heat at Chuck Chancey Park tonight in the Central Valley of California. Fresno Football Club is back home in an important Western Conference fixture in the United Soccer League. Fresno beneath the playoff line, looking for a massive 3 points in their way. Didier Drogba's club, Phoenix Rising, a group that's playing as well as anybody in the league. Hello and welcome with Richard Broad alongside Mike Watts with you. Let's take a look at the last time Fresno took the field. It was away to Merlo Field in Portland, Oregon, and they ran away with it. An early injury to Alex Cooper. In the opening 20 minutes, they're able to turn it around from there. First, it's Cheney. Then it's Koffa from the spot. Foster Langsdorff responds. Ronnie Argueta able to find this ball in the middle of the area, his third of the season. Then Juan Pablo Koffa, a 65th minute stunner, and this deflected ball off of Koffa. It finishes in this game 4 goals to do. For Phoenix, they're playing as well as anybody right now.
Well, indeed they are. You talk about the weather here in Phoenix, in Fresno, but in Phoenix it's even hotter, and the team is even hotter. They've won like 6 out of the last 7, got a draw. They, like the weather, are on fire.
This is a group that hasn't even allowed a goal under their new coach since Patrice Carteron moved on. For Fresno, Juan Pablo Koffa stirs the whole drink.
Last time these two teams played, he was injured on a nasty tackle by Amadou Dia, and there's going to be some revenge in the motive. But this guy has just got magic in his left foot. He gets the ball there, and it's automatic. He is just one brilliant, brilliant striker of the ball.
Koffa with the excellent free kick against Portland, just another feather in his cap. Speaking of feathers and caps, Jason Johnson scored one of the goals of the year you'll ever see.
He is just dynamic and explosive, and it doesn't get much better than this. Any questions, Jason Johnson says, there can't be any after this one goes into the back of the net.
A phenomenal goal for Johnson. He'll try and recreate it tonight in Fresno, California, for a Phoenix Rising team that haven't allowed a goal under Rick Schantz. They're sitting second in the Western Conference and certainly rising at present. For Fresno, this is their first winning streak. They want it to continue. Their next 4 on the road, so tonight means a lot. It's Fresno and Phoenix coming up next. Chuck Chancey Park, players making their way onto the field. You see Kyle Rainish and Juan Pablo Koffa at the front of the Fresno line, both of them in the starting lineup here tonight, as Fresno in 9th place, tied for 8th, could reach the playoff position with a win, send out this starting 11. One change, Alex Cooper, hamstring injury, he's out. Bradley Camden-Fawo is in at left back.
Well, it'd be a nice substitution. He'll do a job. The man is Kafu, sets the table. But what they need more than anything, according to Coach Adam Smith, is a big-time performance by Christian Cheney. He can do some great things, but he has to do them, be a target player, and score goals on a consistent basis.
On the other side for Phoenix, Solomon Asante doesn't have necessarily the numbers that you expect from an MVP candidate, but he is one.
But he creates chances, and he is one of the most dynamic players in the United Soccer Leagues. He is fast, he can take players on, and his strength is not merely scoring goals, but creating opportunities for the rest of that very dynamic attacking combination for the Phoenix Rising.
Same lineup for Rick Schantz as last time out. Patrice Cartheron moving on to one of the biggest clubs in Africa. He spent just over a year in Phoenix, turned the franchise around, and it's the former interim coach, the old sheriff, who is once again now the new sheriff, the coach for the rest of the season. And this team is streaking underneath them as Fire Squad Fresno has arrived, and they're ready to go for this one. If you're Fresno, you look at tonight as the opportunity to take on not only a team near the top of the league, and you can prevent them from holding first at the end of the night, Richard, but also you could find yourself in a playoff spot.
Yes, you can. And at the end of the night, Rick Schantz's team can be tied for first if they get a win tonight. They are maybe not the best team, but they're the hottest team. They're playing the best right now. And so it's a big game for this organization, this young organization that's been started by Frank Yallop here in Fresno.
Fresno Football Club at home at Chuck Chansey Park, set to take on Phoenix Rising as we're underway. Close this Saturday night in USL. Comes to Ronnie Argueta, who impressed again against Portland in central midfield. His trailing run, proving to be the third goal for Fresno in a 4-2 victory over Portland. Mickey Daly. Gets by Cheney. DeFont taking this all the way to the byline, and Cheney runs him over in the process.
Not what we were describing that Rick Schantz wants, not running them over, but in that box, Cheney can be a handful. He's really a good athlete. And when he gets into the right frame of mind and when he gets his rhythm, he's really tough, and he doesn't have a bad player at all, and John Pablo Caffa to set him up.
Carl Wazinski did not allow a goal in the month of June. Well, neither did the team, of course. Fans will say those two go hand in hand. Cheney gets ahead to this, and Luigi Mala will rush backwards. And Wazinski will pick this up. He started just 5 games last year. He and Josh Cohen split the position. Similar position where Adam Smith is in right now. CJ Cochran recalled by Nashville, and so Kyle Rainish moves back in between the sticks for Fresno. Adam Smith, a former goalkeeping coach, knows he's got a good one. Okay with that, although he was hoping to keep Cochran just a little bit longer.
But he has great confidence in Kyle Rainish, experienced player. He feels that they'll be equally strong and the team will rise to the test.
Dia misses on Cortez, and there's Kyle Rainish. Zach Ellis-Hayden, so impressive from this outside back spot. Just when he seems to be back at full health, Alex Cooper picks up a hamstring injury, opening 20 minutes against Portland. He'll be out for a minute. Off of Dia, no Verhoeven. Caffa, Cheney's got his hand up. Barrera across the field. Camden Fayewo moving ahead and serves the cross toward the back post. It'll find Caffa, who brings it down. Caffa lofting across, brought down. The shot ricochets straight back out. That bounces off Amala and back toward midfield.
Well, you said it, Mike. Caffa brought it down. They better not let him do that very often, or it's going to be a long, long afternoon for Phoenix.
Barrera. Stifling stuff early from Fresno. This is out of the reach of Christian Cheney. And Fresno early applying some pressure against this very good Phoenix side.
once again, this ball gets all the way across, and Kaffa has the time to settle it, and he can really serve the ball with his left foot. A very dangerous chance, and Phoenix dodges a major bullet that time. I said it's going to be a long afternoon. It's still afternoon, but it is sweltering hot down there on the field. It's actually early evening, but boy, oh boy, the heat is going to be a factor in the game today. I'm noting how Fresno is really coming out with a lot of energy. Can they sustain it throughout?
Houston knocks this towards Adam Smith's bench. 101 degrees at kickoff. We'll assuredly have a hydration break, one would think, in this opening half, if not both. Solomon Asante. Lofted ball through, flag is up. That was Cortez and Johnson both in unison. Rainish has it. And when you talk to Adam Smith about Fresno, there is no one singular weapon, but he pointed out those two specifically, Cortez and Johnson, for their tremendous athleticism and nose for goal.
Well, they have a great attack. Phoenix has really found themselves on attack under Rick Schantz, but as we said before, their defense has been the key. Since Schantz took over, they haven't given up a single goal, and that gives you a foundation of confidence to go forward when your defenders are playing that well.
Ball got away from Cheney. Probably some hard feelings there. Dia, a red card, 26th minute, that injured Juan Pablo Kaffa when these teams met in what ended up being a 1-1 draw earlier this season.
That has to be something that's in the back of people's mind, Kaffa's mind and Dia's mind, as well as their teammates.
Rainish trying to usher this out. Jason Johnson taking it the distance.
You can't go into these matches looking for revenge. Your best revenge is to play it out on the scoreboard. But if anything were to occur, anything a little bit inappropriate, you've got to watch for reactions. And it's up to these coaches to set the tone and not let their players' emotions and personal issues and private agendas affect the main objective, which is to win a very important game this evening.
Shove from Ribeiro. It's brought down by Juan Pablo Kaffa. Sought out Cheney. It'll come back in this direction.
Fresno likes to play with a high-tempo attack, and when it goes to Kaffa, he can slow it down and give them the chance to be assured of keeping possession. It's a nice balance.
Cheney going up against DeFont, wins the throw.
Be a good battle there. DeFont, very rugged, very consistent player, and Cheney, powerful man, who can really hold the ball up top.
Ellis Hayden, this will bounce away, and now Gladson Awako. Cortez holds up play and serves it out to Asante. And this will fall for Johnson. Ribeiro will take the carom.
Tracking that time by Del Campo, Ramon Del Campo from the left center back position. Had to come across the field, made the play.
And trying to go stride for stride with Jason Johnson. Looks his part as a track sprinter. Awako over the top, Cortez spearing it, laying it back.
Phoenix very quick up top. This is not an especially wide field, and their quickness to dart in and create room in the attack is going to be very important tonight.
On Lambert. Lambert strides by Argueta. That's too far. The Phoenix Rising group now have been off 13, 14 days since their last game. Rick Schantz saying this week that they had their 1-0 win against Orange County, but the agreement was they got all 6 points in their games against Tulsa and Las Vegas, they would get 6 days off after that. They do succeed in doing that. They do get a week off. They come back, and they're actually running faster than in the preseason training test that they did. Phoenix actually went out and got better over the break by not doing anything.
Well, it's good old-fashioned bribery, but you can see why it would happen that way, because it's fresh legs, and coaches sometimes overdo it. We try to do way too much, and this Phoenix team is very, very talented. Sometimes you let the players make you look good rather than overcooking the meal, overcoaching the team.
Lost by Camden Fayewo. You at some point in your coaching career bribed players that way, right?
Oh, never, not a chance.
They're just trying to get away from you, Richard.
Oh, believe me, I was not invited to too many of the parties, especially if we had a couple losses.
10th minute of play, scoreless between Fresno and Phoenix. Phoenix in 3rd place in the Western Conference with earlier results in mind. Fresno tied for 9th, Colorado Springs. Cheney having a little bit of trouble finding the ball on those long vertical balls.
The key thing for their attack is how well integrated Cheney and Kaffa can be. They have the midfield solidly, but it's set, and they're controlling a good deal of play today. But they put a lot of pressure on those two front runners to produce the goals. That's going to be a key. Cheney, if he gets a big second half of the year, Fresno's going to be in the hunt.
Bounces all the way through to Rainish. Here, Adam Smith imploring the team to move this ball around faster and try and pull Phoenix apart.
He wants to keep that ball moving. And again, very hot day, and players can fade in a game like this. And Phoenix, very strong, very athletic. They're a team that can hurt you with one quick play.
Asante sought out Johnson, and that almost seemed like crystal ball work on your part.
Well, it was, but the cross has got to come either to the near post or over to the far post. Too easy a save for Kyle Rainish. The more he makes plays like this, the more his confidence grows.
Al-Said will scoop this long. Kaffa's trying to implore everybody to join him. It's picked up by Wazinski. Well, it was a big match here a couple days ago. A lot of these fans were there. Club America and Atlas played to a 0-0 draw at Chuck Chansey Park, an exhibition game. Drew 10,700 or so. So rush all the way towards the corner. And away from Johnson by Ellis Hayden.
Hayden's got his work cut out for him going against Jason Johnson. He's a guy who could just get the most explosive goals, as we saw from the goal that we featured in the warm-up. And this is a dangerous situation with a narrow field. The ball getting in very quick on these throw-ins.
Dia right toward the penalty spot. Here by Verhoeven. Allowed through. Here's Kaffa. He outraced Mala. No, but Mala has to play it away from the 33-year-old who, Adam Smith reminded us, acts like he's 18, energy like he's 18. Cheney trying to force his way through. Verhoeven. And it's knocked back to Cheney, who takes a long-range strike. Wazinski's up to it.
Very well hit ball, but right at the keeper. Sometimes these quick shots you don't anticipate can be the most dangerous. Cheney frees himself and gets off the shot very quickly, but not accurate enough.
Cheney just trying to find a little more, use the word professionalism, or just trying to find that little extra from him, make him a true number 9. And his first chance to represent this club at the pro level, been with the group at the PDL level and had tremendous success. Proved he deserved his shot. One more from him. Here's Musa for Dia. Intercepted. Trouble still brewing. The flag is up. It's a foul at the edge of the area. Referee comes blowing his whistle.
Got a little glimpse of what makes Phoenix so especially dangerous. You make one false step, just one little mistouch. Hayden goes down. The ball comes loose. He doesn't handle it cleanly when it comes back to him. They did call improperly so a foul, but boy, they can jump on your mistakes. This is one of the reasons why Rich Johnson had such success. He's kind of unleashed these guys. You talk about them getting some time off. He's trusted them more, and they're playing with more freedom, and they're really playing at peak form now.
Barrera for Ribeiro. Long ball over the top. He's found Cheney. Flag is down. Cheney surveys options. Lifts it toward Kaffa. Not enough under it. DeFont handles it easily. As far as Camden Fayewo, Ribeiro will reload. That was an excellent long ball. As time goes short, Barrera returns. Argueta allowed wide. Camden Fayewo crossing. That'll deflect. Head out for a corner.
I believe this is our first one of the game, and these restarts can be very dangerous when teams are that even. And Adam Smith wants his team to capitalize on these opportunities, even though they're going against a very big athletic team in Phoenix.
Kaffa sent an out swinger. Found Martin Del Campo, and it's caught by Wazinski. Going to need to be a little bit better to end what's nearly a 500-minute streak without conceding a goal.
Well, I like what happened right there for Fresno, and of course Kaffa makes everything that much better. He's so accurate with that left foot, and he gets this ball out away from the goal, so Wazinski's not going to be able to come right out on it. And again, Del Campo, very good in the air, had a chance.
Owako sends it in, and it's caught by Rainish. Sante settled that down long enough to let Owako pace into the final third.
We're not lacking action in the final third. These teams like to go forward and get chances. This ball's going to be dropped back. It looks like Asante is going to beat his man. He doesn't. He lays it back. Good decision by Asante. And I think actually Owako towed that ball just to get it in on the goal. And the good players do whatever is necessary to get the results they're looking for.
Both Owako and Asante played together under Carteron, previous head coach in Africa, won the African Champions League with Mozambique.
Boy, why am I not surprised? It's a pretty talented duo up there. There and up top for the team they're on now in Phoenix.
And then there's that guy who's coming back. Didier Drogba is in Russia. He's going to take in the final. We were told if they think, oh, it'll be 3 weeks, Drogba will want to come back and play in 3 days. He won't play here tonight.
You think he can help him?
Tidge. You know, you listen to what the Phoenix folks have said as Johnson knocks it wide. Cortez dispossessed. They're saying it's good for the future. We can win when he's gone. We can draw fans when he's gone. And then you bring him back.
An amazing player, one of the best I've ever seen. Just a living legend and a playing legend. He's still amazing, and he's still out there on the pitch and contributing the way he can do.
Cortez going in hard here.
This is really nice defending by Hayden, who really does a good job. Cortez stays with it. And I don't think there's anything sinister at all in that. Cortez going for the ball. Hayden prepared to sacrifice a little bit.
Short end of the stick, clearly drawn by Rainish as he drives this toward the boiling sun. I mean, you see every player on the Phoenix bench towel over their head trying to keep the sun off.
I'm looking over at the Fresno bench. Nobody wants to sit on it. If it's metal, I think that's pretty clear why.
You're coaching in Virginia. That's no cheap summer.
Oh, we had some preseason practices. It were really hot. I thought the buzzards were circling overhead.
Hear these urban legends about like putting aluminum foil in your cleats to try and reflect the heat back down, and not really sure those do all that much. I think a trash can full of ice water is your best bet. Daly will collect this, but not a good defensive clearance. Cortez trying to send a missile there. Seen that before.
He can hit the ball from that far and put it on target. Dangerous player, Chris Cortez.
Scored a goal from that area against St. Louis in the USL Game of the Week. Back at the end of May, started this wonderful run. Cortez knocking this ahead.
Had an idea that time. I'd been looking for looking for Johnson, and who do you look for? It's almost too many good options in the attack.
Make it sound like that's a bad thing.
Well, sometimes, sometimes there are not enough balls.
Right.
They're not enough to play with, and you can get a little preoccupied. I want to do it, and I want to get on the scoreboard. This has not been the case under Rick Johnson. They've spread the scoring out, but sometimes you can really get a little bit greedy, a little selfish, and you need to work together, and that can be the undoing of a potentially good team if they don't work together.
Ribeiro's looking for a whistle, and the referee lets it play on. Cheney faces up, deflects around. Barrera able to flick this on. Cheney playing it further for Verhoeven. Phoenix has figured out the answer to there not being enough goals. Just score more. They lead the league.
They are just explosive, but it's been that solid defense that has really been the key to this winning streak.
It's a heavy challenge. And the referee tonight, Michael Radchuk, goes in to simmer this down. A free kick for Fresno. Group that Phoenix feels are very strong on set pieces.
Danny Barrera coming over to take this for Fresno.
A year removed now from a stress fracture in that vaunted left foot. The 22-minute mark. Put this in play for Fresno. Barrera. Punched away by Wazinski. Wasn't quite able to get there to catch it. Maybe that's for the best. Here comes Johnson. Stripped away. Verhoeven, the youngster, trying to turn around on this, the 19-year-old Canadian. Camden Fayewo, the blow-by. Sante is still down. Still imploring the referee for more there. It's a corner.
We talked about the tendency to hold the ball a little bit long, and this all results as a play. They did hold the ball too long, and look at Fayewo. Players just bounce off him, and he creates a corner. But it all started when Jason Johnson brought the ball out of the back and tried to beat too many people. Again, you've got to work together to be successful. That's been the key for Phoenix. They can't start playing individually, or that will pay a price.
Zinski set everybody up the corner. Headed into the air. It was Ramon Martin del Campo there. Barrera settles. Ribeiro running out of real estate. Bodied up by Dia. Ellis Hayden, back heel, Ribeiro, and the save by Wazinski. He knocks it wide, preserves a run of nearly 500 minutes without conceding a goal.
You can have good defense, but that man with a funny colored uniform, funny looking uniform, has to do the job. And this is really some great stuff by Ribeiro. He plays it in, he's gonna get it back, he gets a shot off, and Wazinski just touches it wide. Tremendous play by Carl Wazinski in the goal.
Shaney, and we'll just skid her wide of the post. We'll do this again. Think he's excited?
Well, I think so, and they've got reason to be excited. Because every time Juan Pablo Caffa gets on the end of a ball, he can practically place it exactly where he wants. And Wazinski's come up with one big save. He may have to come up with another one.
Caffa swinging in, Cheney puts it in! Fresno gets their goal. It's that number 9 they've been waiting for.
This is what Adam Smith's been looking for. Caffa with that accurate serve. It's away from the keeper. Nobody can get there in that traffic. And a tremendous header by Christian Cheney. As Adam Smith was saying, they need a number 9 who's going to assert himself up top. And when you've got a player like Caffa who can serve in the ball, if he can get up and head the ball like that, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. This is a Phoenix team that has not given up a goal in, 500 minutes? And you can't blame Wazinski. He made a tremendous save to keep him off the board. He couldn't make one on that. And now Phoenix has got to come out and really open themselves up because Fresno is having their way.
490 minutes. It's over a month without allowing a goal.
Goal by Fresno FC, scored in the 25th minute by
the PA announcer's so much calmer now. Dia. Be able to make anything of this. It's a goal kick.
And I've got to say, Mike, I'm not sure that one goal is going to last with the firepower that Phoenix has. So Fresno is wise to keep the attack going and play with conviction and try to push the ball forward as they have in the first 25 minutes.
This goal allowed was that USL Game of the Week at the end of May in St. Louis. It was the 1 goal for St. Louis FC in a 3-1 Phoenix win. Rick Chauncey's team now is to refocus, start building a new streak. Ellis Hayden has other ideas. Ellis Hayden swerving across into the back post. It's up and over. Verhoeven driving in, sending that too far.
These crosses are high-quality crosses, not just Caffa, but that ball that time that Hayden played in. Verhoeven was there at the far post as the ball went across the middle of the goal. No chance at all for Wazinski to come out. That ball's well outside, and again, Verhoeven takes a strike at it. Got to get it on the frame, though.
Owako. Woo, he didn't miss that by a lot.
He did not miss that by a lot. They're very dangerous from afar.
It's deflected, it'll be a corner.
Yes, and again, Phoenix with a chance to get right back in it, so you can't turn your head for a minute in this game.
Dia swinging it in. Comes all the way across. Lambert got ahead to that. And off at Joey Farrell and out for a goal kick. Phoenix almost took that right back.
Kevin Lambert coming out of the midfield. He's a big, tall player, and he can get his head on that ball. We see it coming in. A long shot by Owako from way outside. Takes a deflection, leading to a corner.
Lambert leaned in, but Caffa came away. Verhoeven stripped. Ribeiro a touch. Nothing more. Sante for Owako. Dia. Phoenix rising to this challenge, and Ellis Hayden goes in hard and sends Dia tumbling.
Maybe a little message there from the previous game where there was a nasty tackle by Dion Kaffa, put him out for a month. And Hayden, I'm not accusing of anything specifically, but I don't think Ellis Hayden held up to any extent at all. He's got a chance, and he's going to make some kind of play.
Well, the referee has sent his message as well. Michael Radchuk issuing a yellow card and settling this down early.
And a deserved yellow card, no question.
4th yellow this year for Ellis Hayden, and this is 9th start of the season, having dealt with an abdominal injury better part of the first half of the year.
He's been healthy. He's been very good at that right back position.
And of course, the problem with conceding that foul isn't just the yellow, it's that you just gave Phoenix a free kick from here.
Yellow card issued to
3 or 4 people they might put on this ball here. I think it's going to be a shot by Asante.
I think that's a fair bet. Asante has scored 5 this year, an MVP candidate. He had yet another line to his CV. Asante considering options. You'll check with Rick Schatz. Did he just ask the bench? Solomon Asante swings it to the back post. It'll ricochet wide, and Asante frustrated. He thought he hit that on the money.
He did. He hit a pretty good ball in, but I liked his chances from there outside the box. I think I would have taken a strike on goal. Again, Renish hasn't handled the ball that much. He might be a little bit distracted late in the half, and they're going to take a water break right now, as is certainly warranted.
Solomon Asante and Phoenix threatening. Haven't been able to find an answer as Fresno gets their goal in the 25th minute of play. Talked about Phoenix there, what they would do on that set piece, and Fresno on set pieces tonight, just lethal.
When you've got Kaffa there who can serve the ball with such accuracy. That ball was about 8 yards out from the goal, and that's too far for the goalkeeper to come in the midst of that traffic, and this is what they've been looking for Cheney to do. That's what number 9s do, not merely somersault and show their overall athletic ability, but rise above the crowd and knock in those headers. Great, great header on goal by Cheney off a terrific service by Kaffa.
So the fans enjoy that one. This is a good crowd in Fresno, not quite the 11,000 or so that came for the Liga MX exhibition game between America and Atlas. If you're Adam Smith, what's the conversation right now?
Combination is don't let up. Keep the heat on these guys. Don't let them turn in the attacking third. That's one thing that I would be saying. I would have been saying all week long, because you let these players, these forwards on Phoenix turn and face the goal, they can beat you with just one strike. And it's been a good team effort. Everybody's been committed, and you can tell that these guys are really focused on the game. They came out with a real attacking presence, and they've taken the game to Phoenix. And you have to, because you let Phoenix have too much of the ball in the attacking end, you're going to pay.
Well, Rainish will kick this away. And action set to resume. We mentioned it earlier, but to follow up on it, C.J. Cochran, who has started now 5 games, has been sent back to Nashville. They recalled him from his month-long loan. Kyle Rainish was under contract through the end of July. The 11-year veteran has agreed to stay with the club through the end of the year. Adam Smith extraordinarily happy to make sure he stays around. They were trying to solidify that job right up till the middle of preseason. Rainish came in, grabbed hold of it. Cochran giving him a bit of a rest. But for now, it's Rainish's job for the foreseeable future.
And Adam Smith is not displeased with that Kyle Rainish, a very established veteran. That's what you need, a guy who's ready to step in whenever the situation calls for it. You need those guys, the glue guys, the people that they don't talk about, just come through whenever you ask them to.
Down by Awako, Johnson, Cortez. Awako circumnavigating Verhoeven. A little bit of trouble exposing here. Cheney couldn't take it. mentioned all that has gone right for Phoenix. On the other hand, they've dealt with some injuries early this year. That's a heavy challenge. Referee's got a decision to make, a yellow card.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's the right call. Again, I agree.
Yellow card.
Looks like
to defender number 2, Luigi Mala.
Yeah, that was on Luigi Mala, the right back, to let the ball get away from him a little bit, and made a mistake trying to get back in, a little bit too ambitious to try to recover that.
They're without Cody Wakasa tonight, a red card against Orange County, one that in hindsight, Rick Schantz said he agreed with despite arguing it at the time.
You argue at the time because you defend your players.
Hindsight 2020, then you're able to look at the film and come to conclusions, but Wakasa suspended, probably watching this game with you in Phoenix. And instead, it's Malo who gets the call, and he has picked up a yellow card. A lot of praise on Malo's ability to come in and keep that thing afloat for Phoenix. Last time out, so they're able to get a result 1-0, down a man against an Orange County side that's really impressed. Well, Kaffa, as dangerous as they come, the Fresno Bee had a report this week. He doesn't really care for his nickname. Kaffa, header, snap back, and that's off the mark from Daly. They call him the violinist of the viaduct because of one celebration he did a decade ago, and it's stuck ever since.
What part does he not like, the violin or the viaduct?
Viaduct is home. Violin he doesn't play.
I'll tell you, he plays some pretty sweet music with that left foot, boy. He's an artist in his own right. He's just magic. He puts the ball wherever he wants and makes them especially dangerous on restarts.
Johnson giving chase. This will bounce all the way through.
You've got to be impressed by the poise and the organization of this Fresno defense thus far. And they're playing against a very, very explosive group of attacking players.
Cheney only did grab at the back of Mike DeFont.
Adam Smith very animated on the sideline. He has this team well prepared for this game. I give him a lot of credit.
You as a coach have been through it. The college game is vicious in terms of its scheduling. You might get a travel partner, maybe one game, 1 week. You might even be scheduling a non-conference. Fresno has said when they get a full week to prepare, they play really well. It's when they don't have that training time. This will pop up near Asante. Knotted further. Comes down to a Wacko. A little bit of a shove and kept by Dia. Taken back by Kaffa. You know how this is, trying to get a young team or a team that hasn't been together all that long on the same page in 3-4 days.
Well, there's a lot of chemistry, and you have to balance this, and it's a long season here. The college season is very short, very intense. You almost always have 2 games a week. In the pros, you get a break, and you need the break.
Jason Johnson, the foul at the back of Ellis Hayden.
Gotta like the job that Zach Ellis Hayden has been doing on the right side. He's playing a dangerous player in Jason Johnson, and he's having his way. He's shut down Johnson completely in the first half.
I'll say the pride of Cleveland State to Orlando City, played with OCB. Was a really highly celebrated young prospect and came available for Fresno, and they absolutely love what he brings to the table. Asante at his most dangerous, leading the charge, and Mickey Daly commits a foul.
Didn't get away with that, but you don't want to allow these players to turn. I'm not recommending taking down a player like Cortez or Wacko or any of these players when they get free. Asante, you've got to play them right, but don't let them turn and have chances on you.
Cortez and Asante were on the same wavelength, but Ranish was tuned into that channel too. 39th minute, Fresno trying to get a good upset victory at home. Looking for their 3rd straight win. 25th minute, Christian Cheney. A celebration that included both a backflip and I think the game Fortnite. You don't play, do you?
No.
I'm hoping whether it's our director Eddie Suarez or Dean Nevins, our producer Abe Aponte, or someone in the camera crew can help us better examine what that celebration was, because I think it was Fortnite, but I'm probably just showing that I'm woefully out of date.
What isn't out of date is this defense that we've seen with Fresno. They have been just rock solid defensively so far. Few chances for Phoenix, but Phoenix has had to work a lot harder than to get chances on goal, and they still haven't scored in the first 40 minutes.
Lambert trying to lob to that back post with Cortez coming. It's a little baseball pass for Hovind, who's cooled off a little bit since returning from youth international duty with Canada.
High intensity in this match. We've got about 5 minutes to go, plus any stoppage time that's added on in the first half. I can't believe there's that much, but we've got to see if they can sustain it in the second half. It is really, really hot out there. Again, you only have 3 substitutions, and can Fresno keep up this tempo that has really been in their favor? They've taken Phoenix out of their game.
Verhoeven controls this, laces it through. Chaney off the back of his heel. Muso's one of the players up for Player of the Month, which is somewhat staggering for a holding midfielder when your goalkeeper has 5 shutouts in 5 games.
It's a very powerful midfield that Phoenix has. Musso and Lambert, they just dominate teams in the middle of the park. They've not been able to do that today, and I think part of it is designed by Adam Smith. As you see, once again, this is
Fresno FC 2018 plans are still available at a
hard
flex option.
challenge.
Choose any 5 matches of your choice, starting at $70. For more information,
That's an Awako's come over. Let's take another look at this. That's Fortnite, I think. And a violinist, I think.
What I love is the way the violinist embraces the moment. I don't know whether he's playing the trumpet or the flute, but those two get them on the same page, and you really got something here in Fresno, because Kaffa's as good a playmaker as there is in the league. He is just an artist with that left foot, and Chaney's a handful.
Yep.
I mean, he's a prototypical number 9, and Adam Smith wants to see him play like a number 9.
Pablo Kaffa is more like the Hulk. You won't like him when he's angry.
You won't like him when he's on the other team, but you love him when he's a member of your team, because he gives you that great dimension. That was a terrific header, and that's what he's fully capable of doing.
David Vaudreuil brought him into Tulsa. He had trouble even getting into the country. He was stuck in Toronto overnight, trying to get everything sorted out. When Pablo Kaffa nearly didn't come to the USL, he did. We're all better for it. Kaffa knocking it over the top, headed out in front, knocked away. It's Dia moving down the doorstep. Sante. Here comes Lambert, striding forward. Young Jamaican who was on the Gold Cup roster last year for the Reggae Boys.
That was really nice work by Ribeiro defensively coming back. And
straight red card. Lambert sent away. And he went in at Martin Del Campo. Kevon Lambert has been sent off in the 43rd minute for the 2nd straight meeting
midfielder number 27
against Fresno. Phoenix will play down to 10.
From Phoenix Rising.
We've got to take a look at this and see what develops. This is Lambert goes in really hard, and that's a foul. And I certainly think it's a yellow card, but I think it's a bit harsh to go with a red in that situation. Lambert did make an honest effort to get the ball. He may have even gotten part of the ball. It was a foul. I think it's a bit harsh.
Well, he's made his decision. For all the talk in the World Cup about VAR, it's not something that's instituted in the United Soccer League. Another look at this.
Lambert he's late.
But the studs are up, right? That's part of this.
I think it is part of it. I think it's a clear foul. I'm not even questioning that. It does come in late. You can argue for it. I would have given it a yellow card in that particular situation. Like you say, Mike, in the World Cup, we've got video review. We don't have it here. We saw a couple plays reversed in the World Cup that cards were changed from red to yellow, and other decisions were reversed. And I think there was a bit quick and very unfortunate for Phoenix, because Lambert's a large part of what they do and enables them to control the midfield. Let's see what Rick Schantz is going to do to make an adjustment.
If you can believe this is the 4th time this season in Phoenix's now 19 games they'll play down a man to close out the action. 4 red cards now this year, including 1 second yellow.
Social media at FFC Foxes on Facebook,
and Owako and Asante are still discussing this. By the way, I don't think Lambert was the only one that got sent to the dressing room. I think one of the fans was being carried by security up the railing there a moment ago, too.
Wow,
to get all of your Soros gear.
Quite a scuffle, but
are in stock. Check out
You're of the belief that was too much.
I think it was a bit too much. And Mike, I'm not an advocate, a fan of the card system. I think it's antiquated. I think it's too subjective and has too much of an influence. I mean, yes, but it can have an enormous effect on the game, and it's highly subjective. And what's a red card for one person is a yellow card for somebody else, and maybe not even a card for somebody else. And when it has that radical an effect, then I think you've got to re-examine it.
But then is there anything that you can send somebody off for?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think you can.
But you're just not calling it a red card.
Be sent off.
Isn't it 6 of one, half a dozen of the other?
We've got a great game going on here, so I don't want to go into all my philosophy about rules, all these radical ideas I'm developing in my old age. But again, I thought that was a bit harsh. It changes the game too much. The one thing is that this game is a very tight game without much space, and people can compensate for this. And if there's any team that can battle back with a loss of a player like Lambert, Phoenix is the kind of team, because they've got guys that can single-handedly take over a game.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at the philosophy of giving cards with Richard Broad. This will get away from Johnson. In reality, we'll actually look at first half highlights and stats, some of the early season MVP, defensive player, goalkeeper of the year candidates. Get you ready for the second half of play. Well, once you give that red card, you have to think that everything's going to be called just a little bit tighter. Argueta going over Asante there.
You want to just sort of make sure everybody thinks it even. And, you know, again, Asante went over very quickly that time.
Asante trying to get everybody on the same page. This is unfamiliar territory for Fresno. They haven't trailed in over a month and a half.
4 minutes of stoppage time in the first half. That's really a large amount for first half.
Stoppage for the red card and another for hydration. This to the back post. Never ended up in play. That got by Mala.
This may be the biggest challenge that Rick Schantz has faced since assuming the reins. Everything's gone well. They haven't given up any goals. They've been winning games. Everything's rosy. And then when the wheel comes off the wagon, what are you going to do? And here, it came off the wagon very quickly with that red card to Lambert. He was frustrated. The midfield of Fresno had taken the game away from him. He hadn't had a chance to get in. He committed a harsh foul. He got a very harsh decision. And now the team's struggling. And how's Rick Schantz going to get him back in the game and go on from there, because Lambert isn't playing the next game?
Asante, heavy touch. Barrera. Well, there's room to exploit here for Kaffa. Overlap came. Verhoeven driving in. Kaffa takes it. Spins, serves over Cheney and out for a corner.
Again, you nailed it, Mike. Verhoeven coming in. Kaffa takes it. He said, I'll take this from here, and serves in a great ball, and only really good defending in front of Warzinski saves the chance for another goal. Kaffa's is a maestro. He's just magic on his left foot, and here he comes again.
He was 14 when Noah Verhoeven was born. He was doing this way back when.
Well, he'll probably be still playing when Verhoeven retires. I mean, he doesn't play that hard. He just gets the ball and puts it exactly where it's supposed to be, like there.
Kaffa hits Argueta right in the head, but he can't redirect it on frame.
Phoenix defenders are going to be having nightmares of these balls being served in from the corner by Jean Pablo Kaffa.
Halftime, if you're Fresno, you must be ecstatic. You're up a man and a goal.
You're ecstatic, but you should be up a little more. You got to put a good team like Phoenix away. This game isn't over.
Long way to go here in Fresno. Chuck Chansey Park, the site. Phoenix Rising, one of the best teams in the USL's Western Conference. But Christian Cheney rises above the rest. Celebrates not once, but twice. And Fresno a 1-0 lead at the half. Back with more after this.
The Doers at Chevron are proud to be the official energy partner of the Fresno Football Club.
See the Security Bank building off in the distance. Fresno Football Club, a 1-0 lead over Phoenix Rising. Wherever you're watching, glad you're with us on the eve of the World Cup final. Alongside Richard Broad, Mike Watts with you. First half highlights from this affair. And, well, this was a pretty wide open game at the start.
Really was. 1-0 at halftime belies how intense it's been, and really great work by Fresno. They came out determined to play today, and they've taken the game to Phoenix, and long-range shots taken by Cheney in this particular situation. And look at the moves by Verhoeven, and again, another driven ball, and they're testing Warzinski right away. He's had a very good first half. Phoenix getting some chances. Explosive offensive team, but for the most part, they've been shut down. They have had a few moments, and this is Owaku, probably the best chance of all. He just gets a toe on it and just managed to nick it forward. Good save by Rainish in the Fresno goal. Just a little bit of time to go going in. We see an opportunity. Great work by Rebrero. He plays the ball in, gets it back, and a marvelous save by Warzinski, forcing a corner. But the problem is, unless you get the ball all the way out, you're going to have the ball eventually come to Kaffa. He can put it almost anywhere he wants, and we're going to see that he does this in this corner. Plays it in, and great effort by Christian Chaney, rising above the masses and driving the ball. No chance for Orzinski. It's 1-0. Terrific service by Kaffa. That man can create for just about anything, and nobody celebrates like Christian Chaney.
490-minute streak without allowing a goal is in the rear view mirror, and I'll say it again because it's so impressive it lasted that long. This changes the game. Kevon Lambert goes in, and Del Campo goes down. It's a red card.
Well, it is. It's called a red card. I thought it was a bit harsh, but red card it is. It does change the game now that Phoenix is playing one man down.
Well, Owako came in there and tried to bring the red card back down to discuss it, but no such luck. Phoenix, surprisingly, just one shot on target in the opening half.
Well, a great effort by Fresno. They are as ready to play as any team I've seen play in a long time. Adam Smith said, we're going after these guys. We're not going to sit back. We're going to put the pressure on them. Let's see how they responded. And they had one breakdown off the corner, and they had a careless foul that was called a red, and now they're in trouble.
Last time these teams met, Adam Smith called it a frustrating weekend. Cough out that they would learn from it. Well, they're up by 1, but they were in this position before, and they were up a man. They gave up a 90th minute goal, so there's a long way to go before this one's complete. It's Fresno 1, Phoenix 0 at the half. When we come back, we'll tell you about some news and notes from around the league and upcoming games in our USL Game of the Week schedule. But before that, plenty of great options for the midseason awards. We'll show you some of the best right here.
And a goal! Save by Newton. Big save by Dykstra.
Difficult to imagine that it's going to be even better than last week's game that was played out west, but the Eastern Conference is host the next USL Game of the Week. FC Cincinnati, they got Charlotte Independence, trying to provide a good swan song after OKC scored a 6-4 win over Las Vegas on Wednesday night on ESPN News. So July 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern start, 5 p.m. Pacific on ESPN2. And that's not the only game Wednesday night. The U.S. Open Cup continues with Louisville and Chicago. Continue on ESPNU on July the 25th. San Antonio and Colorado Springs before finishing the linear package. Tampa Bay and the Charleston Battery, who got a big win over Louisville tonight. Let's take a look at some other news and notes from around the United Soccer League. Emmanuel Ledesma, phenomenal in the month of June. He outpaces everybody, including Phoenix's back line. 4 goals, 16 chances created. He is the player of the month. Reno now 16 games unbeaten. They've moved into the top 4 in the Western Conference after a strugglesome start. And in 2019, another new team set to join in the opposite conference. Hartford Athletic is the 6th addition to the USL for next year, joining a bunch of teams out in the Western Conference new to the equation. Look at the USL Team of the Week. Juan Pablo Caffa from Fresno finds his way into the upper left corner. Nico Samayoa at center back has actually been recalled by New England after an injury, as Vera impresses for Los Angeles Galaxy 2. Smith scores for Louisville City in their win against Tampa Bay last time out. Lucky M. Kosana has quietly become one of the best goal scorers in the league for Penn FC of late. Well, Fresno's got a 1-0 lead, and it's an impressive goal from Christian Cheney. 25th minute of play. Phoenix on the ropes. Down a man, down a goal. Second half is coming up next.
Hashtag the competition.
Chuck Chansey Park in Fresno. 4 consecutive road games looking ahead for Fresno, so they're enjoying the home cooking on the day. Christian Cheney, the go-ahead goal, and Kevon Lambert picking up a red card, so Fresno up a man the rest of the way. There is the 4-game road swing. They're doing that Oklahoma road trip through OKC, who are playing dramatically better of late. Tulsa, a team that, despite a new manager, is still struggling, although they've moved out of the basement into 16th place with a 1-win, 8-loss, 9-draw record. They're away to Sacramento, the old Adam Smith team, and away to LA Galaxy 2 as they make their way down the California coast before finally returning to Chuck Chansey Park on August the 18th against St. Louis FC, who are right around them in the standings. So a lot of games against teams beneath them, a chance to move up if they can take advantage of their business. On the other side, a Phoenix Rising team that is going to be happy to return home against Seattle Sounders FC2, dead last in the Western Conference right now. Then what everybody's waiting for. It could be number 1 against number 2. Real Monarchs, top of the league. Phoenix with a win would move level on points, but they'd need 2 goals here, down a man. Then they continue their road swing through Portland. They've moved down to 7th after a blistering start to the season and return to Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex August the 11th, take on Orange County Soccer Club. Well, these teams have returned to the field. Let's start Richard, with Rick Schantz and Phoenix Rising. You're down a man now, and if there's any team, you said this before half, that can still find a way in this league to come away with a result in these circumstances, it's probably Phoenix.
I would say so. They are an explosive team, and this has been a strange game in some respects. This field is a bit narrow, and it's cramped the style of Phoenix and limited their space. And they're without a man, and that's never a good thing, especially to lose as good a player as Kevon Lambert. But they may have a little bit more space. It may open the game up a little bit more, and it's going to be curious to see how Rick Schantz handles this, because they must have the discipline. They must keep their composure and not do things like Kevin Lambert did to produce a red card.
On the other side for Fresno, 6-0-4 this year when they score first. They have had some devastating late-game two-point drops, including against Phoenix a month and a half ago. How do you avoid that now?
Well, you come out like we talked already, Adam Smith saying, look, we keep the pressure on them. Our game plan is to make them play, not give them opportunities. This team is so good they're playing in the attack Phoenix that the more you give them chances, the odds are they're going to score, and just eliminate those chances by taking the game to them.
Del Campo, too far for Chaney. He was a bit out of his element, leading the break. Fans rising in unison before, again, a four-match road swing that'll run through the rest of the month. Long ball over the top is caught by Rainish. A win would put Fresno above the playoff line. Haven't been able to say that much of this season. Do it against Phoenix at home. This was the one game where I think a lot of people felt maybe the magic would run out after picking up wins against Sacramento and Portland. But Adam Smith saying, we've now faced everybody. Don't fear any of them. This is Johnson entering the area. Hand fighting with Ellis Hayden. Johnson pirouettes away from that pressure, finds Asante. Missed on Cortez.
It's good defending again by Hayden, but isn't Johnson a handful? He's holding off three guys and still able to keep possession of the ball.
All the way to Wazinski.
One of the things we have to talk about, Mike, is the use of substitutions. Both teams have three subs left, and how they use them on a hot day like this is going to be pivotal. And if the substitution pattern changes for Phoenix.
Camden Fayewo went the distance. What's with these defenders making their way up the field? Del Campo and Camden Fayewo are running like the wind out here.
Well, that's the strategy that Adam Smith wants. We're going at these guys. We're not going to sit back and absorb their pressure. We're going to minimize the amount of time they have the ball in our attacking end. It means our defenders come forward, so be it.
When you were coaching, I'm sure there were teams in your conference that were just the king of the group, where going up against them was almost intimidating just by its fixture on the schedule.
Well, when I was at George Mason, we were at the tail end of Howard's great runs in the 70s, and we played there. And for some reason, our players always got up to play Howard. They loved playing there. The field was not any good at all, and our guys always seemed to rise to the occasion. It was really quite a challenge that we had, and a great rivalry we developed. But there were other teams, American and William Mary, all those teams well coached. Back again, and what a run out of the back. This is Fayewo just moving forward, and that's like about a 70-yard sprint with a ball that he's carrying out there, and that's what Adam Smith wants to see. Wants to see pressure on the opposing team. And again, you develop these rivalries, as you mentioned, Mike, and you get coaches like the legendary Lincoln Phillips, who's the coach at Howard, and Pete Maylard at American, and Al Albert at William Mary. These were guys that you knew that you didn't have any margin for error. If you made a mistake, their teams would make you pay.
Defensive header falls to the most dangerous man in this game, Solomon Asante. Well, Juan Pablo Caffa might have something to say about it. This is out for a corner. Dangerous in different ways, Asante and Caffa.
Asante's so quick. I mean, like give him room to isolate. He can beat almost anybody. They've got some guys that can get up in the air, so I wouldn't waste this corner short. I'd drive it in and see what happens.
There it is from Asante. This ball served back toward the frame. Cheney trying to go up over to Font and keep that in play and misfired entirely.
You see what's happening out here. That Fresno is just throwing their bodies around and trying to win balls and just not giving Phoenix time to play.
Turned over. Asante. Asante trying to open up a window. There's the window for Cortez. Got it down by Verhoeven and out.
Really good defending by Ramon Del Campo. Just forces Asante, won't let him go back, put the ball down across the middle.
Mala. Header popped up. Ribeiro brings it down to his feet. You think back to the win against Sacramento a couple weeks ago, a team that's firmly in playoff position, had a phenomenal start, Adam Smith's old club. And that felt like such a statement victory for a team that hadn't won a game in the better part of a couple months. We're able to figure it out here at home, and then you go to Portland and you get another, and all of a sudden this Fresno team is starting to show an inkling of what people thought they could be when the roster became a little more clear, a little more composed.
This is going to be a good franchise here in Fresno because they've got good leadership at the top. Frank Gallup taking over the position, really founding this team and taking over the reins as general manager and president of the club. He has a track record of success at the professional level at MLS, and he'll get it done here. But there are some growing pains in the young team, and just a little bit of consistency has not existed.
Benson Owako has gone into the book, a yellow card.
Again, this is the kind of thing that Rick Shantz has to break his players up. Get away. None of this stuff going on. That's a clear foul by Owako. Doesn't accomplish anything. He's a veteran player. No reason for him to do that.
It's worth noting both Phoenix and Fresno ambitious in their own ways. Ray Beshoff leading Fresno, Burke Bakai and the ownership group for Phoenix. Barrera tries to slip it through. Misses there. Burke Bakai, by the way, just put out a, boy, there's a little extra there. Zinski really frustrated. Anywho, let's go down your track.
Well, my thought is Barrera needs to shoot that ball right away. He's got a chance, and sometimes you're not just passing the ball, you're passing the responsibility. Brzezinski's not happy with the little extracurricular stuff that occurs after this one takes place. He wants to get going, and of course Hayden wants to slow this game down a little bit.
Owako. Cheney. Tough to swim move at his side. And DeFont swirls him to the ground.
We're looking at this situation, and this is a run. Cheney trying to get by, and it is a clear foul by Mike DeFont. Fortunate not to get a card. And fortunate not to get a card for kicking that ball in the stands.
It's that man again. Juan Pablo Caffa popped up. Wazinski gets knocked down.
They're going to call that every time as a challenge. And this is kind of a even it up call because there have been some cards issued to Phoenix players. This is, again, Del Campo, who's a primary target on restarts, going in, and he just simply charges into the goalie, and I can't blame the official for awarding a yellow card here. Del Campo said, "What is that?" And it's a yellow card, Ramon.
Michael Radchuk is going to hand this out like Halloween candy. Everyone gets a card.
Nobody's going to be deprived today.
If there's, I don't want to dig up dead bodies here, but it's just something where, you know, the yellow card can serve to settle things down. It hasn't yet, but you give enough of them, and everyone's got to be on their toes. Here's Asante striding through. Asante has it stabbed away by Camden Faywo.
Mike, you make a good point. The card system can serve to settle things down, but sometimes some indiscriminate use or some mistaken use can only agitate things.
Owako entirely misfires on that.
Boy, speaking of agitated, Rich Shantz has to be agitated with a missed opportunity there.
Well, it's not over yet.
No, and again, Fresno looking just a little bit sloppy, and Adam Smith, you can see him on the sideline, and he's starting to look, maybe make a substitution, because these guys that have been out there for the first 55 minutes have really left it on the field. They've done a great job, but they're 35 still to go in oppressive heat conditions.
Quick restart. Lobbed out in front for Defont. This will fall. The rip is off frame. Boy, if Asante does put that on target, nobody's surprised, but everybody's jaw drops.
If that ball's on target, we've got a tie game. And again, Kyle Rainish is just imploring his players, saying, "We got to get out of here." And that ball stays in, and nobody gets out behind this ball to hunt the ball or to take the players out of the area. You got to get them out behind that ball and charging that ball. Give up your body for that one, because they're very fortunate that Asante did not put that ball on the frame.
The best description of that probably weren't our words. It was players of both teams putting their hands on the back of their heads, because everybody knew.
Right now, what's happening is Phoenix is starting to get more territorial advantage. And Adam Smith, I wasn't there in the locker room or any of the training sessions, but I know that he told these players, we cannot play this game in front of our own goal. These guys have too much skill.
Asante, ball gets peppered back in by Dia.
It's a very hard game to score goals, but if you leave the ball around, it could eventually go into the back of the net. And Adam Smith has seen that happen in Phoenix. He doesn't want to see it happen in his own home park.
Verhoeven, second time's the charm. Cheney tried to leave it. And now Owako goes to work. Solomon Asante pinging the ball between his feet and running by Romero. Cortez showing off some moves, and it's forklifted toward the halfway line.
That was a little bit much. Need to try to beat people when you can and then give it up.
There's room behind if Dia can get there.
The job by Hayden. He just manages to make the plays, and he's gone against an awfully tough, formidable opponent in Jason Johnson. And when you get a guy like Amadou Dia coming forward, it complicates matters.
Amadou Dia, chance to throw this in. He showed a long throw earlier in this match and put it right on the penalty spot. That's where he aims it here. Steered for Verhoeven. Strong-willed header comes to Rainish. It was off frame. He'll throw it long. Hits a strike right onto Kaffa's left boot. Verhoeven. Kaffa's making a run. And Farrell knocks down Verhoeven. Thank you very much.
I thought it was a fair charge. I thought Farrell won that ball cleanly. It's hard on the play, but managed to win the ball. Anytime you need to get a little bit of a breather, if you're Fresno, you need to find Kaffa, put it on his feet, and he can redirect the game and change the play. And I think we're going to see a substitution fairly soon. I see Jamal Johnson on the sidelines for Fresno. I think he may come on for Noah Verhoeven, quite possibly.
Certainly certainly a like-for-like switch. Johnson has found himself on the pine. Got a red card, ill-advised, a second yellow 3 weeks ago. Missed one game, then returns against Portland, and you just beat Sacramento on home field. Why make a change? Have to be fair to everybody.
Well, the other thing about Jamal Johnson, talented player, but not the most disciplined player, and we see the lack of discipline that happened with Kevin Lambert earlier today, and Phoenix been forced to play a man down. Adam Smith does not want to give his opponents those kind of opportunities, and he making a point to Jamal Johnson is about a couple things by not starting him.
This is Jason Johnson. Johnson trying to circle around. He and Del Campo.
Fresno, where you at?
Just marvelous defending by Hayden. He's just so underrated and so unsung. Again, he's one of those piano carriers that you have to have to move the instrument so the musicians can go to work and play the sweet music.
And then once in a while you see him get forward and realize he can actually play it once in a while too. Not chopsticks either.
No, it's far from it. It's not any kind of harsh, acid rock or anything like that. Johnson is coming on, in fact, for Verhoeven, and I think that it's just a matter of a little bit of tired legs. Noah Verhoeven did the job. Everybody that went on the field has been on the field today for Adam Smith has done the job for him. It's been a really fine effort against an excellent Phoenix team.
We were told that they'd be monitoring minutes on the 19-year-old, and in this heat, well, there's not a lot of this in Canada, to be frank.
No.
Vancouver is delightful, I hear, at this time of year. So Johnson comes on. One of the leading goal scorers among newcomers in the league this season. He's sitting on 7 as he circles back and swings it to Argueta. This finds Kaffa. Reynish pressured by Cortez this week, asking, is this team finally a little bit of a roll? Told it should have been earlier. There's an air of confidence. This team's risen up to the challenge the last couple of games. As Billy Forbes, early season MVP candidate last year for San Antonio before tailing off a bit, wilting a bit in the heat of the summer. Coming on for Jason Johnson, who never quite had the impact that I think we anticipated coming in.
Well, I thought he'd have an impact, no question. He's a very talented athlete, but he never got started. And again, Zach Ellis-Hayden has done a splendid job at right back today. He's maybe the man of the match. He's been so good defensively and so consistent. And hey, he's had to deal with Johnson for about 60 minutes. But how do you see like another fast guy for the next 30 is what basically they're saying. So can Hayden hold up the way he has for the first 2/3 of the game?
Owako gets it from Asante. Drives it wide of the post.
He can come forward too, boy. Let's 62 minutes in. Can they continue to hold off against this kind of assault? This is Asante finds Owako. Can he get by the player? He does, but his shot is wide of the target.
Richard, let's be frank. If you said one of these teams is down to 10 right now, I don't think I'd think Phoenix.
You can't tell. I mean, Phoenix, these players are so active and they play with such freedom that, I didn't think the man down would be that enormous a factor. The field is a bit narrow. It compacts it a little bit. And in a way, the Phoenix players with the regulation 11 were getting in each other's way, and now they got a little more room to operate.
Taken away by Camden Faywell. We've seen him get forward.
He's played excellently at that left back.
Stepping in for the injured Alex Cooper, who's been maybe the most consistent, most reliable, maybe the most valuable player for Fresno this year. Slid away from Cortez. Jamal Johnson, long diagonal ball over the top. It'll hang up for Kaffa. That's brilliantly feathered in. Kaffa drops it back. Options. Kaffa. Runners arriving at the post. Forbes stepping in. Ribeiro. And now it's Ribeiro. Ribeiro still! Ribeiro doubles the Fresno lead. Phoenix on the ropes.
And Adam Smith just loves this. This is a tremendous individual effort by Ribeiro. I thought the play was over. Ribeiro gets to the top of the box, plays a 1-2, keeps on going, gets the defender on the wrong foot, and scores with his right foot. Left-footed player like Ribeiro has the ability to play with the off leg, and he goes by Farrell, he goes by DeFonte, and slips it in. A just magnificent individual goal by Ribeiro, Pedro Ribeiro.
Kaffa holding his forehead. He can't believe it. Ribeiro brought in as a number 9. They dropped him into the number 6 because they just couldn't find a consistent midfield presence. Ribeiro certainly playing his best of late. Asante trying to respond. It's a bouncer that's handled by Rainish.
I know that's a big goal, but we still got 25 minutes on that clock. A great goal by Pedro Ribeiro. I saw him play in college, and I love the individual talent, but I question his work ethic. I question his ability to defend, but there's never any question about his attacking brilliance as he showed right there to get the second goal of the match.
Out of Coastal Carolina. This will come back, a free kick.
See Rick Shantz on the sideline holding his hands behind. He felt like that maybe Ribeiro held off people on the way. Well, I don't know. Just to do that, that's just just a brilliant individual effort. That's all you can say. And I really thought that they had a better chance to find Johnson, who created the play with that great cross, and they missed him. He was open on the left. Ball got cleared not all the way out. Ribeiro just did the rest. Classic 1-2 and classic beating of the two central defenders.
First 2 goals his team has allowed in the last 5+ games. Just been so good.
Yeah, they've been good goals. There's no embarrassment there. This Fresno team's got some stuff, and they are really probably their finest game of the year, I think, certainly to this point.
Kaffa! Oh, he put it in! Juan Pablo Kaffa! Everywhere within his range. No dream out of reach. Fresno grabbing this game by the throat.
Don't look away for a minute, because that man will give you a thrill. You put this ball on this guy's left foot, and boy, oh boy, what he can do. This is just a brilliant goal, and I think Rzinski just got thoroughly confused by it. What a bending ball, and just sneaks it inside, and what a great effort. Kaffa has just been a maestro today. Got to be a little incentive there, because this was a game earlier in the year that took him out of commission for about, put him out of commission for about 4 weeks, so he's got to be loving this.
He just pointed straight at the bench of Fresno. Asante just got assaulted. Ribeiro and Camden Fayewo, 2 guys you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley. 2 big, strong, defensive-minded players when they want to be. Well, this, again, you don't want to count Phoenix out. Been there, done that. However, Fresno trying to line up what is certainly the biggest win in franchise history. Asante, defensive header as far as Mala.
Let's be real candid, 3-0 against a team playing the way as Fresno is going to be a mighty hurdle, a huge mountain to climb for Phoenix. They'll keep playing, and maybe they can get back into it, but the odds are against it. But what Rick Shantz has to do now is figure out where we're going from here. We've been great. We've really played well. We were coming back from this break and looking solid, looking even better than ever. And this is a real eye-opener. But do we learn from it? What do we pick out of this?
Here comes Kaffa. Couldn't hit Johnson. Oh boy, Kaffa's down.
It's a hamstring cramp is what I believe.
Well, doesn't look good. He's trying to stretch that out.
I think he's just cramped up, maybe in his calf.
Waving at the bench. Adam Smith said, okay, Corey Brown, the center back, hamstring injury. Then you see another hamstring injury to Alex Cooper. Eventually, you begin to question how we train, how much exertion we're giving in games, how we handle minutes, and even strength and conditioning. How do we get these guys into the condition where they can handle this? Kevon Frater set to come on for Mike DeFont, what assuredly is going to change the formation a bit for a group already down to 10 men. But Kaffa injured against Phoenix earlier this year in a contact injury. Just a guy that Fresno can't afford to lose.
Well, yeah, he's the orchestrator. He's the concert leader. Everything. He's gone down. You see the situation coming down. Strikes the ball. He just cramps up. I'm pretty sure it's a cramp, not a knee injury. Yeah, the way he's holding his leg. And he's done. Fortunately, they've got a 3-0 lead with 20 minutes or so to go, and he's probably going to be able to come on. Looks like he's cramping already even before he makes that service into the box. And, yeah, he's reaching there. He's going to have to limp off. They need a sub for him, and let's see who they bring on. But he's served his purpose. He's done a tremendous job, and now they have to kill off the game.
Chiva Cuevas is standing by to come in. It does look like that's going to be the end for Kaffa.
Substitution, Phoenix Rising coming in forward, number 51, Kevin Frater.
Frater has come on. Here's Cortez. Cortez, that's just wide. That went off of James Musa out in front of the net.
That didn't miss by anything too much, and I thought it might have hit Musa or one of the other players defending. Obviously, the official doesn't feel it does. And Cuevas is going to come on for Kaffa, and he's earned every bit of rest he gets here. He has been absolutely magnificent. And with a team of young and spirited and athletic players, you get a veteran like that, and they all really obviously respond to his leadership and his example. He just settles the play down, and he has just been absolutely special. And he's a guy who's going to be a difference maker over the course of the season.
And when you look at the USL, there's just a certain level of player that's beginning to enter into the league that change dynamics of organizations. Phoenix has a couple of them. Barrera tracking into this. Plays it through. Cuevas goes down. Fair challenge. And you look at Phoenix, and it's a lot of these players came from within the league, but they brought in Sean Wright Phillips and Omar Bravo and Didier Drogba. Cuevas knocks it wide. Barrera on the cutback. Barrera playing to Johnson. Back to Barrera. Palmed away Wazinski.
That's a great save by Wazinski. That ball's right down at his feet. He has to get down immediately to save that one.
That's save of the week caliber stuff right there.
Wazinski's had a great game, and they're down 3-0.
Isn't that telling?
This could be that signature game you talked about, Mike, the game that proves to Fresno that we belong with the big boys. That we now they go on the road. They go on the road 4 straight. Let's see how they respond.
Johnson! Of course he does! His 8th of the season, pacing the team. 4 goals to Fresno. It's that magic number again at home.
Look at the combination work up front. This Fresno team is just on fire. And Adam Smith's got to use this as a teaching moment. This is what you guys are capable of. And for Jamal Johnson, he hadn't been starting. He's got a lot of talent. He's gotten some really good performances in, but he hasn't been consistent. He had a chance to watch on the bench. This is how I want it done, and he's joined right in. And let's be perfectly honest. Phoenix is not rising out of these ashes, but they are. But they can learn from this. It's really important. And Adam Smith has to say, we're building and we're doing it right. This is what you guys are capable of. And Rick Schantz has to say to his team, look, lest we bring it every day, this can happen. This game is over after you learn from it.
All ahead, Mala brought down, Frater tossed aside.
Boy, that could have very easily been a PK, and I think probably at this point, this game could disintegrate a little bit, but Fresno wants to keep their defense solid. I think Rainish in the goal, he's replacing the starter, Cooper, and he wants to, he wants that shutout. It'd be a nice thing to have.
Cochran going to Nashville and Rainish reclaiming that spot. 75th minute, Paul Torresante. And let's be frank about this. Phoenix down a man in this second half. That's not a mistake. It does leave them a little more vulnerable as they look to try and get the goal, and well, it's all come undone for them. I don't think if you play this game again and again and again, you get this same result more than once.
No, I think Phoenix is going to want to play Fresno at some later point in the season.
Yeah. This could easily be a playoff match.
I think it very well could.
You look at where Fresno is in the standings, the games in hand situation. It's going to be a 7-2, a 6-3, a 1-8. If Fresno's playing, they think maybe Chuck Chancey Park's going to host a game. They're waking up in a big way, 9 points out of 9 games.
As a coach, you have these kind of games. At least you hope to have these kind of games. And this can show your team what they're capable of. And certainly should for Fresno. Fresno's a better team than one just struggling to get into playoff contention. And they've got a lot of talent, and they've got good coaching, and a lot of things going for them. And now Adam Smith just has to build. They've got a 4-game road stretch that's not going to be easy, even though they're against teams below them in the table.
Only Sacramento over them. The other 3 all significantly below the playoff line at the present moment. This is a George Orwell cautionary tale if I've ever seen one. Barrera deflects. Zinski watches this fly out of play. And a corner coming.
Barrera had fire in his eyes. He came across on that one and said, I want some of this too.
Alessandro Rigi set to come on. May wait till after the corner. If I'm Phoenix, I'm probably letting this play out a moment longer. Rigi generously listed at 5'4". Chiva Cuevas on the corner kick. Bounces out in front and stabbed over the crossbar. Change coming for Phoenix. And there'll be a hydration break as well.
Now we'll pause for a league-mandated hydration break.
Well, the public address announcer's calling this league mandated. I'm pretty sure the players are willing to step up for
I
this.
think they should have band-aided it a few minutes ago. My goodness.
Boy, Fresno opening this thing up in the second half of play, Richard. This has been a really impressive performance against a 10-man Phoenix side.
It really has. And here's the goal that broke it open. Classy 1-2 by Ribeiro, and he just dices the 2 center backs and scores that ball with his right foot, even though he's a left-footed player. Brilliant work by Ribeiro. He belongs, and he's gaining more and more confidence with each moment.
Then Koffa on the free kick. Jamal Johnson, give, go, get, and in. All that 10
back
minutes.
And get it in the net.
You think about it, Fresno broke this thing open in 10 minutes time, and it didn't look like Phoenix. We talked about it out of the break. If you said one of these teams was 10 men, I don't think you're thinking Phoenix. They were moving the ball forward. It just seemed to leave them a little bit vulnerable.
Well, you can get away with it for a while, and you have to make your chances. And they did have some, but they didn't quite capitalize on their chances. A couple shots wide, some good goalkeeping by Renish, and Fresno has really come to play, haven't they? This is one of the best performances I've seen all year.
There's your change. Owako comes out, and it's Rigi checks in.
17 forward, Alessandro Rigi.
Owako is playing on a yellow card. And Renato Bustamante is set to be the third and final substitute for Fresno. That'll come in a moment's time. '80th minute, and Fresno tearing apart Phoenix in a way that really hasn't been felt going back to the early stages of last year in this Phoenix Rising era. This is, well, uncommon territory. Territory I'm pretty confident they won't see again anytime soon.
It's not whether you fall down, it's what happens when you fall down. How do you respond? And this is obviously a deflating game, and even though Phoenix knew they were going into a snake pit here, into a jungle in Fresno, it's going to be a tough effort. They never expected to get trounced this badly, and how are they going to respond? Good test of the character of the team.
Barrera didn't keep that in.
Solid match down that flank, Danny Barrera.
Bustamante come on. That's enough for Christian Chaney. And Robert Earnshaw is a phenomenal Premier League striker and assistant coach on this team. He's been working with Adam Smith, trying to get Christian Chaney to the top of his game. He scores in this game and sets a tone. Christian Chaney, at his best, could be a very legitimate number 9 for this team.
That's what he was today. He got the first goal, and if you don't get that one, then you're struggling a little bit. And this is a very convincing game. This is as complete a triumph over a good team as I've witnessed in some time. And Chaney has ample cause to be happy with himself today, and they need more of that. And
ball knocked over the top. Forbes has moved to the right. Mala. Amadou Dia. Not as far as Johnson. You can tell he came on with a bit of fire. Cortez knocks it ahead and cleared away from Frater. A little extracurricular.
Defense has been very solid for Fresno today. I wanted to say especially in the back, but Hayden and Faywo have done pretty well on their flanks.
Sante, this comes out. Falls again. Forbes. Further back. Dia. And intercepted. Here comes Ribeiro. Plays it long to the fresh legs of Bustamante. Sadly for Fresno, they won't get to see Frank the Tank tonight, as all 3 subs used Fresno FC. Forbes aims it for Cortez, off the post. Rainish goes flying into his net, and that's as close as the Rising have come all night.
You now see why we've been talking about Phoenix explosiveness and not being out of the game for so long. They're down 4-0. They're 8 minutes to go in the game, if that, and they almost score. That ball's off the post. They've been just not sharp and precise, but this is a really good ball in by Forbes, and Cortez does everything but put him on the board.
Bustamante chests it down. Let's get around Farrell.
Fans, get your tickets for the Foxes' next home
Over
match
the last
against
month,
St.
a
Louis
lot of the
FC on
conversation
Saturday,
around this team has
August
been
18th here at Chancey
finding
Park.
round pegs for round
Stop by the courtesy
holes.
booth or the ticket office window today.
Cheney
on
has
the
started to
conference.
find himself at the number 9. Kaffa at the number 10 was masterful tonight. Ribeiro holding midfield looked certainly the part. The fullbacks were on point this evening. It's really hard to say anybody was anything less. This is a yellow card. Challenge by Ellis Aiden. He's sent off. It's his second yellow.
And that hurts. That hurts.
Double
6
yellow card on
minutes
number 2,
plus
Zach
extra
Ellis-Hayden.
time to go
And
in.
he gets the red
Second
card.
yellow card for Hayden. He'll miss a game. And what a shame, because he has been really, really good today. And I didn't see exactly what transpired on this. I don't see what transpired on this. Oh, there it is. He comes in with a high cleat, and he just has to have discipline. The young players have to think out the game, and that mars it a little bit. And they go on the road without a very solid player. He's had a great game today until that happens. And then that affects you down the road. And this is why they work so hard on the discipline. And Adam Smith, I'm sure, is going to address this with Zach Ellis-Hayden. He's too good a talent to do these kind of things and make these kind of errors. Why? Just let him play from there. It's 4-0. You've got 6 minutes to go. Get off the field without anybody getting hurt or anybody getting sent off. That's a real shame.
Ensuing free kick is knocked over. It's a corner. The 10-day vacation for Ellis Hayden just became 14. He'll be suspended for the Oklahoma City game, which is on July 25th on the road. He'll probably be traveling with the team to that game because they'll all but assuredly stay in Oklahoma, play Tulsa Roughnecks the next night, or rather the next weekend. Service from the corner. Forbes got up to meet that. Circling around Frater, another corner, and you can tell Phoenix trying to get one back here.
Give them some credit. They're still playing, and they just haven't mailed it in completely. These subs want to get a chance to show what they can do, and give them credit. They're not going to win this game, but what do they do from here? That's the key, because they've shown what they're capable of doing. Now can they bounce back from adversity? You get adversity in a season as long as this.
Camden Fayewo tugged by Joey Farrell. And you mentioned adversity. From the moment Patrice Cartheron shockingly left to go to Egypt, take over a club team that's among the most famous in Africa. Rick Shantz, who was an interim last year when Frank Yalt left to take over the non-existent Fresno franchise. Shantz 7 games then, and he said he came into the locker room the first time he talked with the players. They talked about family, about rising as one, which is a motto that the team has used, one that he's using. He's very active on social media. He's outgoing with the media. He's got a fantastic dispossession, and you would think he'll be okay, but tonight's going to sting a bit. His first defeat since taking over.
I don't have any worries about Rick. I think he's going to be just fine. What worries me on Phoenix are these players going to show the discipline they need. And here's a situation there where players dragged and come down. Asante's getting upset with it. Shake it off. You just got a card to the player that fouled you, but you cannot afford to have players sent off as they were. And again, I had some questions about Kevin Lambert's foul and whether it should have been a red card. But this discipline is so, so important to a team. I'm impressed tonight with Phoenix's talent. My question is, can they channel it? Can they go up against a team with as much talent that throws them off the game the way Fresno has tonight? And can they respond in an appropriate manner? They really didn't tonight.
Regi and Rainish comes away with the ball. Yellow was to Chiva Cuevas. That's his first of the season. Updates from elsewhere. Salt Lake City appears to pick up 3 points there in stoppage time with a 2-goal lead. So it's 6 points back now for Phoenix. Sacramento has won tonight as well. So if results stand elsewhere, it'll be 6 points out of first, sitting in 4th place. For Fresno, 3 points moves them into the playoff contention, above the line. Been waiting a long time to get there. That's been the rallying cry. Forbes just had a bad interaction with that select soccer ball. Get away from Camden Fayewo.
Well, let's say this, Fresno should be above the line. They've demonstrated today. This is really a consummate victory, a team victory. I guess we're going to be naming a man of the match, and likely Christian Chaney, or he's certainly a likely candidate, although I think Kaffa should be the man of every match for Fresno. This guy is really special, and they got some great work out of some players today, and you can't. I wanted to single out Zach Ellis Hayden, but you can't do that because he made that mistake, which could cost him down the line. But other than that, what a tremendous performance by this Fresno club. Frank Gallup has to feel he's got something going here.
With the win, they'll move to 7th. Portland and Colorado both lapped by Fresno with the result tonight. 3 minutes at a time. Separate Fresno on what now sits as a 4-0 scoreline.
And again, why do that? Why do that at the end? Just get away, get off the field, get ready for your next match. Silly play by Frater to come and charge the goalie with nothing at stake. The team is more important than your individual agenda, and this is what is my biggest concern with Phoenix right now. Can these players, with their immense talent, subject their individual egos and mold it in what's best for the team? And I think with Hayden, it's a matter of just maturity. A young player, you got that second card, but you have to have the judgment and the awareness that they've got a yellow card, and I don't need that. And that's going to be the role of these coaches of both these teams, as well as some other teams. That's going to play a major factor in how they come out at the end of the season.
He goes long. Cortez. They'll get out of play. Well, without further ado, let's unveil tonight's El Mexicano man of the match. The answer is Christian Chaney.
Well, I can see why. A great header right here. He played like that number 9 they've been looking for. And again, I don't know how much prize money he's getting, but he ought to give a little bit of it. That coffee you serve the ball to him. Great work by Christian Chaney, though. No kidding. He's one of the best dancers in the league, and he's becoming one of the top forwards in the league.
In that order?
Well, take your pick.
Well, there's a second problem here. That's the free shipping you get with orders of $50 or more. SelectSportAmerica.com.
I spoke earlier in the game, Mike, about Phoenix being a little bit holding the ball too much and maybe needing more balls. That was the answer right there. That second ball rolling on, but a little bit too late for Phoenix at this point.
Johnson for Cuevas. They'd love one more to send this crowd home before a 4-game road swing. Be there for Bustamante. Oh, glorious Phoenix run is over. And that's okay. It's a long season. For Fresno, this is the most dominant performance they've strung together. Franchise history. It's a young franchise. Hard to underrate what tonight means. As Fresno up a man, able to pour a 3-goal avalanche in the second half, pull away and win it 4-0 and move into 7th place in the USL's Western Conference. Christian Cheney in the 25th. Ribeiro, Kaffa, gorgeous. Jamal Johnson off the bench. Fresno 4, Phoenix 0. We'll wrap it up after this. Over 100 degrees tonight, Fresno, and it's the home side that dominate Phoenix, who were down a man the majority of the match. Finishes 4-0 tonight at Chuck Chansey Park. Let's take a look at tonight's Zoom image of the match. Caption that. That's before it's 4-0.
Well, he's in shock, but he should also be very, very happy. He's got to be smiling deep inside. Coach Adam Smith has done a great job getting his team ready. This is one of the finest performances in this young franchise's history.
Let's take a look at full-time highlights, Richard. This is a Fresno team that could have conceded early in this game, and it would have changed the whole dynamic.
Sure could, and Phoenix very dangerous. And look at this Asante coming in, and this is shot by Awaku, and he toes it in, but in great position is Rainish to make the save. And here we go with a work by Kaffa, serving a perfect ball in, and it's our man of the match, Christian Cheney, rising above everybody to get the first goal and showing us a little magic. He's pretty quick on his feet in a lot of ways.
It's 1-0 at the 25th minute. This really the moment that changed it before halftime.
Yeah, I'd say this is the turning point. Kevin Lambert makes a tackle from behind on Del Campo. He takes him down, getting a red card, and it's pretty tough to handle a team that's down. But again, Phoenix keeps playing. They get a chance. They get a long-range shot from Asante that's just wide, and they keep playing. This is a great effort here. And if Asante makes this, we got ourselves a game, gents. But unfortunately for Phoenix, they don't, and it's just too much going on here. And this is Ribeiro, that attacking midfielder, showing his magic. 1-2, beating the two central backs, and the left-footed player scores with his right foot to produce a great goal. And this is looking at it again. Ribeiro getting the return pass, fakes to the left, goes to his right, finishes with his right foot. That's the third goal of the game, and one that really puts it out of reach for Fresno.
So that in the 64th minute. Here's Kaffa, leaves a man of stone between the sticks and Wazinski.
Yeah, and Kaffa, he's just too good. I take that back. Kaffa had the third goal on a magical shot. Ribeiro the second. Kaffa the third. He's just one of the best restart specialists anywhere you're going to find. And finally, the last goal by that man who came on for Kaffa, Johnson, who is explosive player to bring off the bench. He shows why. He finishes fourth goal, and Carl Wazinski, you have to feel sorry for him. He had a great game in the goal, and his team still got beaten 4-0.
Here are the full-time highlights. All in all, it's a fairly even game, but Phoenix loses a man. They don't convert the one or two chances to level it, and Fresno lays in on the accelerator.
And a well-coached game, a well-orchestrated game by Adam Smith, and A loss of discipline by Phoenix. Can they learn from this? Don't get these unnecessary cards. Keep your focus on what you have to do, and you can be a very good team, but you can't have these kind of performances very often if you're going to have the success you're capable of.
Let's show you what's coming up next. As for Fresno, they are headed on the road. They'll take on Oklahoma City Energy. They just dropped 6 goals on Las Vegas on national TV on Wednesday, but luckily they'll have 2 weeks from that point to try and cool off a little bit. Never easy taking on a team in that kind of form.
Just too much, and we're seeing some great goals. We saw some out here, so we should have a lot of fun there.
Richard, Fresno, big win.
Huge win. Congratulations to Fresno, Frank Gallup, Adam Smith, and the whole group.
Janey Early, Ribeiro, Kaffa, and Johnson with wonderful goals of their own. And this crowd that won't see this team for the better part of a month comes and sees a 4-0 drubbing. Maybe the best team in the league. For Richard Broad, producer Ava Ponte, director Eddie Suarez, Dean Nevins, our entire team in Fresno, Mike Watts saying thanks for watching. Fresno above the playoff line, a dominant win. It finishes Fresno 4, Phoenix 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.